Hey there, whippersnappers, it's Tortoise the Grey. Welcome you back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown UU Battles. Today we are leading up. I actually built this team for RU, but with the ladder shifting, a couple of the guys had moved up into UU, so I had to use them there. But they seem to do pretty well overall, and I really liked this team, so I was like, well, I'll do some UU battles then. I was thinking RU, but whatever. So I've got this. I led off with Boots, and he easily took care of their Pavilion. And then I U-turned out on the Scrafty to get Elsa back out here. They went for the knockoff, but I've got the Sash on Elsa. And I threw up the spikes the first turn knowing that the Sash would save me. And then at this point, I knew I was faster, so I used Destiny Bond. And the Scrafty took the bait and went ahead and killed Elsa, which took him off the field. So that worked out pretty nicely. Then they brought in their Aerodactyl, Led Zeppelin, and Mega Evolved. Boots got the Fake Out off, which did a little bit of damage, and then we're going to go ahead and go for the knockoff here after tanking an Earthquake, because Boots is awesome. So we get the knockoff off, and then Boots goes down to Life Orb damage. That allows Leatherhead to come in and Aqua Jet Aerodactyl here and take it on out, which works out very nicely for us. Then they bring in Tool. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the Dragon Dance here, because I imagine that this thing's probably going to spend some time setting up as well, which it does. So I get my boost and I go for the Waterfall, which is going to be plenty to get rid of Tool here, so that works out very nicely. And then they're going to come in with Iron Maiden, their Sharpedo. Leatherhead doesn't have much for Iron Maiden, so I switch into Brooder. Brooder's got Dry Skin, so I figure fighting type that can't be hurt by water type attacks, probably perfect for Sharpedo here. So Brooder is immune to the Waterfall and then gets a Drain Punch off on the Dark type Sharpedo and takes it out. At which point they bring in their Nidoking and then they're going to forfeit. Well, forfeit in a manner. They just left. I don't know how people do that. I guess you close the window. And whenever I try to close a tab, it's like, oh, are you going to forfeit? Or whatever. So, yeah. So they left, but I count that as good as a forfeit. And it was a pretty good battle for me, so I figured I'd show you guys anyway. It was definitely going to be a win. Brooder had Ice Punch, and then we also had several other guys that could easily handle it. So, yeah. So let's try another one with these guys, shall we? Hey, whippersnappers, here we go with our second battle for today. They led off with their Aggron, and I pretty much saw that coming when I saw their team lineup. So this time I led off with Elsa and decided to go with the Taunt, expecting them to throw up rocks and spikes and everything. They went for the Heavy Slam, which did big damage, and so I led off with the Destiny Bond, and it would have been perfect if their move hadn't missed. The Stone Edge, unfortunately, has pretty bad accuracy, and so unfortunately it missed. It would have been great if they had killed Elsa, and I could have gotten Mega Aggron out without really any trouble at all. But it did miss, and they caught on, and they switched out. I used Destiny Bond here, but they're not going to fall for that. They go for Toxic, and are going to take out Elsa without much trouble there. At this point, Brooder comes in, and I do the trick switch out into Leatherhead, expecting the switch into Mega Aggron from Brooder. I figured the poison typing would be enough to force the switch. I come back in and they throw the Psychic up, which is good. Brooder's immune to that. They protect, I guess, to scout that I had a Psychic move. I'm not sure what was happening there exactly, but at that point then they do switch into Gajeel, and I'm just going to go for it. I go for the Drain Punch, and then I'm going to switch out worried about the... or I went for the Drain Punch expecting the switch at that point. And then I switch out into Radagast expecting an Earthquake or something. They roar and bring Brooder back in from Radagast, so that was convenient, I guess. And Drain Punch is doing well enough that I just let Brooder finish Mega Aggron off there. So sometimes switching works for you, and sometimes they just pull you back in. They bring in their Galvantula, and I'm able to get a good gunk shot off on Galvantula and kill it. So that works well, but they did get the sticky webs down, which is going to be a very big hindrance to me. I hate that stupid move. I need a spinner. But I did get the Sucker Punch off on the Victini, which did real good damage before Brooder's going to take a Psychic and go out. Leatherhead comes in and is going to Aqua Jet Victini, and they stay in for it, so that works out nicely. We get a couple of their big threats out of the way. Chestnut's going to come in. I'm going to switch out into Radagast, and Radagast is going to take a Seed Bomb without much trouble, giving his typing, and is going to get the Hurricane off with the Compound Eyes and take Chestnut off the field without really two thoughts about it. It works out pretty well for us. Radagast unfortunately goes down to the Dark Pulse, is not quite fast enough to outspeed the Hydreigon, which they said to me in chat was full speed and specs. So there we go. I was hoping to get a Quiver or a Bug Buzz off on it, but Boots comes in, gets the Fake Out, but again, thanks to Sticky Webs, was not fast enough to get the U-turn off before Hydreigon was able to kill it. And then Hydreigon is going to kill Leatherhead here as well, which leads us down to Shaman, or Yona, our Shaman. Going to take the Speed Cut and the Stealth Rock's damage. Thankfully, Dark Pulse doesn't do a whole lot to Shaman, so we're able to throw up a Seed Flare or two, and we are going to actually, thankfully, be able to take out this Hydreigon. I throw a Protect here just to get a little bit of Leftovers health back, so that I'm sure I can withstand the next Dark Pulse, which wasn't necessary, but it was good all the same. And then we get a Seed Flare off here, and Hydreigon is going to go out. So that worked out pretty nicely for us, at least. Then they're down to their Flowgrass, I think is what this thing is called, and Meadow. And so Yona's gonna kind of have a standoff war with this thing, a stall war rather. I get the Leech Seed up, they get the Toxic. At this point, though, I pretty much know it's over. It's going to be a bit of a stall war here, but they've got Wish and Protect, and I'm Toxic with less than half health, or at least I was at the time. So, you know, Leftovers and Leech Seed's going to be good, but it's not going to be good enough. Eventually, that toxic damage is going to compound, and I don't have enough to take out Meadow here without it getting Wish up or something of the effect. So, in the end, going to lose this. It's going to take a little bit of time because we're kind of doing the stall thing. They apologize for it in a minute here, but you know, they've got Moonblast on this thing. They're going to eventually just go ahead and kill Yona. But I don't know. I wanted to waste their own time, I guess. But you know, it was a nice guy. We were talking throughout the battle, and he had a good team here. Good team. You know, in the end, I just didn't have what it took left over to you know, get through this. I really should have probably saved Brooder, looked ahead, but did not, and so that's my own fault. But yeah, thank you, Screwy Dewey, for a fun battle and the good conversation. I like when people are civil enough to actually chat during these things, so I appreciate that. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching today's UU battles. As always, I've been Torment the Great, and you guys have been great. Make sure to leave those likes, comments, and subscriptions, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.